You're listening to Power Talk, Berkeley Electric Cooperative's official broadcast about the cooperative, our communities, and ways to use energy wisely. And now, let's join our hosts for today's episode. Good morning, afternoon, whatever day you want to call it. This is Micah Ponce. I am the communications specialist with Berkeley Electric Cooperative. We are here with a special edition of Power Talk. Not on our regularly scheduled hour or time, so things are getting a little bit crazy here. We're already off the rails, and we just hit record, so
yeah,
we'll make do.
It's because we have so much valuable information to share.
We do indeed. For those of you who are listening and watching, that was Miss Libby Roig, the Director of Marketing and Communications. Welcome, Libby.
Thanks for having me.
Steady co-host. You know, she's always right by my side, holding down the other side of the table, making sure that things stay on track. Not doing a very good job so far, Libby.
No.
Got to reel me in. Reel me in. All right. Yeah. We also have another special guest in studio, Miss Yahira Bess.
I'm his bestie.
That is true. The public relations specialist for the cooperative.
Yes.
And we got a special topic to talk about today. We're going to talk about something that's been on everybody's mind a lot more recently, and that's politics.
Yeah.
More people have ever been paying attention and getting involved. And some of the past presidential elections and midterms have seen some of the highest turnout rates that there have been in recent history. And I think one of the keys that we need to take advantage of these increased numbers is making sure that folks are educated about the issues that are affecting their communities. And I think that for the most part, the electric cooperatives are on board because they've created a program that's called Co-ops Vote that's all about helping educate those members. So,
That's right.
Yahira, you are our resident expert on all things voting. So give us a rundown of exactly what is Co-ops Vote.
Well, Co-ops Vote has been there for a while. It's, people think it's a campaign, and it is, but it's a nonpartisan campaign. And it's just there to boost, our rural voter turnout. We want to get our people involved, our members involved, knowing that their voice is their vote and that vote has power. And we also try to educate our members with the program in regards to not just federal, but we're talking about state and your local elections, and also our annual meeting, which is very, very important to us. And we always try to motivate and educate our members to come out, because even annual meeting is important. I mean, you get to meet our board and you get to decide and elect who our board members are for the co-op. So this is a great program. It has a significant impact on just voter turnout itself.
So, Micah, there's 900 plus co-ops nationwide?
Yep, getting close to that 1,000 mark somewhere.
Yeah, and no two co-ops are alike.
You've been to one co-op, you've been to one co-op.
Yeah. And so what I love about Co-ops Vote is it brings together all these individual organizations that are very, very different. So very, very different service territories and populations, in one rallying cry of we have to participate in our democracy.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people might be thinking, you're an electric cooperative, you're there to keep the lights on. Why are you even worried about voting? Yeah. Why you're sticking your nose in there? But what folks need to realize is that, co-ops there's a saying that co-ops were born in politics and will die in politics. Correct. We were part of the Rural Utilities Service Act. Mm-hmm. We got federal funding to get things started. And so from the very beginning, co-ops have had a hand in politics. Mm-hmm. And like Yahira, you mentioned, we are completely nonpartisan.
That's right.
The idea behind Co-ops Vote is not to say go out and vote for this side or go out and go for that side. We just want you to go out and vote in general. Yeah. We want you to be a well-informed, active voter, and that's more or less what the purpose is behind the Co-ops Vote program.
Yeah, and I think we get caught up in the big elections, the presidential elections, the presidential primaries. But really what matters the most is our municipal elections, mm-hmm. our local elections.
That's
Those,
right.
by and large, have low turnout, and those are the people that make the biggest impact in
those
day-to-day
are your
life.
most important ones are your local, because it starts here in your community in order for you to see that difference. So it's like, people are like, we're just going to do the primary. The big one is the one that I get involved in. You don't understand. Like, you have really got to get involved with the local, your area, because that's where you want to make that impact.
So in talking about being educated, I think the very first step is figure out when the areas you qualify to vote for are having elections, and that varies widely. I know it's something that you have to keep up with, but City of Goose Creek doesn't always have elections when
Right.
Town of St. Stephen's does.
Right, and we were discussing earlier this morning that Moncks Corner's got a mayoral election that's coming up, and so there's a lot of things that are on the docket, and we've got a new guy who's running, who's bringing new ideas to the table, and you have to sort of educate yourself. You
Yep.
got to know, why should I vote for this person as to that person, because it will have a direct impact
yeah.
on your daily life, whether or not we have more people move into the area, whether or not we have that extra penny tax to pay for roads. These are all things that affect your day-to-day life and where you live in your neighborhood and your town that are very important to pay attention to.
That's right. And I just want members to also think that when you're out there doing your civic duty and you're out there voting, it's very, very important to not only that, think about the future. Think about your children, grandchildren, how it's going to affect them. And that's the way I see it. When I stand in that line, whether it's 15 minutes or an hour and a half, I'm just thinking about, okay, this is for my children. I want them to have the best opportunities that they can have. I want there to be a difference. And I think this is very important.
And after standing in line and voting, you get a sticker.
Yes. It's all worth it for that sticker.
Got to post it on social media. I voted.
bragging rights, yeah.
Exactly. Got to let folks know that you were out there.
That's right. That's right.
But I mean, there's always going to be important issues that are facing electric cooperatives. One of the things back in the day, like we talked about, was having access to affordable energy. That was one of the key drivers behind whether the formation of co-ops and why we even exist still to this day, is making sure that members in the outlying areas have access to affordable energy just like everybody else does. And another one of the current modern day issues, it's almost the same type of thing as bridging the digital divide.
Yeah.
A lot of electric cooperatives are involved now in expanding broadband coverage throughout rural America, because these days you have to almost have that internet connection to be able to participate in modern life. If you want to be able to remotely work, if you want to be able to take school online,
Apply for jobs. Jobs are all online nowadays. You can't get the Sunday paper and flip through it. You got to have job alerts and job websites.
Everything
Yeah.
is online. Everything is digital. So
right,
it's
and
very
funding
important.
for that is decided at the federal level. And so those are important issues for electric cooperatives. We're lucky enough to have a utility partner here in this area that is taking on the job of expanding the broadband to some of our outlying areas, McClellanville, Allendale, and they're dealing with the federal grants. But there's a lot of electric co-ops who are taking that on themselves. And so having a voice in the conversation, having a seat at the table to decide this type of issues is extremely important. So,
And fortunately, at least for our representatives, they disagree on a lot, but this is one issue, expanding broadband access, that across the aisle they agree it's important. And like Micah was saying, in many ways it mirrors the challenges of when electric co-ops were being created. It's very expensive to run the infrastructure, and as you get it more into the rural areas, there's fewer and fewer consumers to help offset that cost. So we have to have the federal support for it.
And I think they saw a big need for it once, of course, COVID happened and kids were sent to, back home and did the e-learning, and then a lot of businesses were working from home. That's where they really saw, oh my goodness, there's a need. We had students that did not have, the capability of being able to connect and do their homeworks or their daily tasks because of that.
right. So that's, like we're saying, that's one of the reasons why that co-ops vote program is so important. We need to have elected officials who are identifying with our cooperatives and understand the needs for us to be able to serve our members, because those are their constituents, their voters, but those are our members, and we're the folks who see them every day, and we're in their neighborhoods, we're in their towns, and we're the ones trying to provide service and make sure they have their affordable, reliable, safe electricity that they need, as well as broadband and other services. But we talk about, all right, so that's the co-ops vote program, but what does it sort of mean to be a co-op voter?
Well, co-op voter is very important. I encourage everyone that is listening to please be that co-op voter, because it's just being that active voice in the community. It is promoting the democratic system of governance of all our nation's institutions, from our co-ops to the halls of the Congress. So co-op voter, they just believe in the policies that will modernize our nation's energy supply in a way that will keep costs, as you mentioned, affordable. It's going to be reliable, and that's something that I feel like if you are a member of the co-op, then you should be a co-op voter. Yes.
So Berkeley Electric proudly supports this initiative, Co-ops Vote, and we're a 5-star co-op.
Yes.
Now, I feel like we're a 5-star co-op just in general, but Yahaira, what does that mean in relation to Co-ops Vote and that program?
Yes, I feel like I should have a pin for that 5-star co-op.
Yes. Is there such thing as a 5-star general?
Because it's
that would be Yahaira.
You do have to have certain requirements and actually have certain activities and programs, but just that 5-star co-op, it just encourages the consumer members to learn about what we were talking about, the federal, state, local elections, and make sure that they are registered. And if they have any questions or if they want to know how to go about it, then that's where we step in and help our members. We just get the news out there, we educate them, and it just empowers our members to make that, educated decision on, okay, let me do my homework. Who's running, where do I go? How do I update my information? Mm-hmm. So it's just important information, and it focuses on engaging, the elected officials by inviting them to our co-ops, just to meet not only the actual employees, but also our members, and have a little discussion like, okay, what are the needs that our community needs, and how can I make a difference? Yep. And, I believe that's the reason why, our co-op is that 5-star co-op.
Yeah, because as important as it is for our voters to be educated, the opposite is true. Is we need our representatives, our legislators, to be educated about what our needs are, what our priorities are in the community.
That's right.
And one of the things that you mentioned that I think is important, because is talking about, making sure that you're registered to vote, is don't assume that things haven't changed. There's been a lot of movement when it comes to voter registration laws. They've been looking at, election security, election districts. So there's been a lot of changes going on across the nation. So it's better to be safe than sorry. So, go to Co-ops Vote. It's very easy. You can check to make sure that you're a registered voter, that nothing's changed. Your polling location hasn't changed. There haven't been any new requirements that, you need to bring this document or this voter registration card. It's just preparing to, be that active, prepared
engaged.
Co-op, engaged co-op voter. And one of the things that we like to try to do is, we've got something that's coming up right around the corner,
whoop, whoop.
a big event.
Can't wait.
Speaking about voter registration, why don't you tell us about that event?
I'm so excited because me and my team are going to be out at the National Voter Registration Day, which that's going to be September 19th. And this year we are going to be at Trident Technical College at the Berkeley campus.
Okay.
I am so excited. This year we're just going to have that opportunity to be out there and just engage with the community, engage with the members. Just any questions that they may have, if they wanting to know, hey, can you just check my registration just to see if everything's in line, or I want to register to vote. How do I do that? Well, come and see us, because we will be there from 10 to 2, and we will help you with any questions that you may have.
Get you registered.
Yes, get you registered, and any other questions that you may have in regards to the elections.
The question is, will we have a nifty sticker?
Ooh, I know, right?
I think we can come up with something.
Yeah, we will definitely have. If
we'll
it's
have a
not
prize.
co-op, and I do believe last year we had co-ops vote stickers, which were pretty awesome.
Well, there you go.
So, yeah.
So come out, you can get yourself a snazzy little sticker.
That's right.
But just be warned, if you do join us at Trident Tech, Yahaira's enthusiasm for voting and democracy is so contagious that if you're not ready to go bust out your red, white, and blue, just avoid Yahira.
Yeah, because I already have my agenda down. I know what I'm bringing. If I could have a high school marching band, I would have a high school marching band out there. So the fireworks and all.
Yeah.
Just don't get caught up in the enthusiasm and try to register twice. That's a no-go, no bueno. But I would also like to just point out right off the fact that I am the only person in the room wearing red, white, and blue for our voter podcast.
Awesome.
Lack of
Did you
planning.
plan? Did you plan that?
I did plan that.
Wow.
I did plan that.
Kudos to my bestie.
See, it's infectious, you know.
It is.
I'm laying awake at night. What can I wear for the podcast tomorrow? That's red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
To support the voting.
Awesome. I want to see you in the red, white, and blue come September 19th.
We got to get him an Uncle Sam costume.
Oh, that would be so cute.
You need someone taller and skinnier. I don't. That's not the look for Uncle Sam. I don't know if I can pull that off. Well, folks, we've talked a lot about, Co-op's vote program. It's really easy to go out. Just go out to vote.coop to be able to take a look at all the information and resources that are out there for you. Yahira, Libby, it's always a pleasure. And that's going to do it for another edition of Power Talk. Thank you for tuning in. And don't forget, you can now find us on all the popular podcast streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple, and iHeartRadio. You can also get a behind-the-scenes look at each episode on the Co-op's YouTube channel. So until next time, this is Power Talk, signing off.